Alright, it is Monday, May the 2nd, 2022. I worked this morning and then I had to go work at the gym. And I spent late morning and early afternoon today preparing my newest files that will cover the Greco Italian wars, or the Balkan campaigns. I mean, it all falls into the Balkan campaign overall, but the primary event of focus for these specific files is the Greco Italian War of 1940 and 41. And I gathered some news items that I thought would fit well into the game that I want to implement into the game. I noted that these Orbats are existing but not implemented into my Orbat data. There's another version of Greek Orbats in the 1936 files. It's basically the same as this, but it doesn't have the locations defined for the units, whereas this one does. So I think I'm going to swap that out before I recache that again. I made a rough sketch of what I'm going to do with the files, and did all the math as far as calculating dates and persist counts and locations and whatnot. So this is my scratch pad in a sense, and it more or less streamlines the process of implementing data into the game because I have it on a clean sheet that I can now take these numbers, translate them into events, and then pop them into the game, and it'll all be clean and neat and all tied together. I still got to do a few more things before I can do that. I got to pull data out of the CSV that may be in there that would conflict with any of this, and then I have to retie it into this data. And I also want to take the single player campaign data that is existing in the game. This isn't part of the 36 scenario in the stock format, but it is an option that you can play just this scenario in the game, which is the Italian Greco Italian War. More or less, you can go into the game and you got several different ways you can play it. There it is. And so I would jump into that, and I am Ireland because I didn't pick a nation. Anyway, I could jump right into that, and I could be either Italian, Italy, or Greece, and I could play that specific scenario out as a single player. Whereas I like to add it, I like to reconfigure this data here. This is the campaign data into something that can be either played throughout the entirety of the 1936 scenario. If you want to play as Italy or Greece, you'll still get these prompts. And also I like to reconfigure it so me playing as Germany, I'll still have this going on in the game, but it will be governed by the artificial intelligence system. So I have to reconfigure some of these numbers, take that data, tie it into this data that I have laid out ready to go in, and that will beef that section of historical significance up significantly in my game. This is the first set. These are the pretext, increased DEFCON. This is based on certain variables. I've made the event, then the condition below it, and then if that goes through, then these will go through, and the Greeks will move to certain locations as priorities for defense. This event right here, the cruiser alley sinks, that was more or less one of those things where everybody knew it was an Italian sub that sank the ship, but even the Greek government, trying to avoid war, proclaimed that it was an unknown vessel that sank the Ellie, and that soured relations between the Greeks and the Italians further, which led to the Italians then building up forces on the Greek border, yada yada yada. DEFCON goes up for Italy. Then they got their hot spots, 3 of them I set, in southern Albania. Then this will be the final event that will have to take place. Italy will send Greece a full transit treaty offer for one way only, allowing the Italians access into Greece for strategic reasons against the British, who they will be at war with. There is also a condition for that. Italy has to be at war with Britain for any of this to happen, which is basically a lock, the way I have my scenario set up, so this will happen. But anyway, all this is based on that variable, and then all the variables kind of link it all together in between. This actually happened on October 28th, and then it'll run a condition that same day, and that will persist for that full day. And if Italy does not have transit rights in Greece by the end of that day, then they'll declare war on Greece on October 28, 1941. If that happens, then it'll go into this data. None of these events will happen without that first page, but this is more or less into the war. If Italy's at war with Greece, then they'll get rules of engagement set up so that they colonize Greece. If Greece is defeated, surrenders as a colony to Italy, that'll persist for a while. I gave the war a 9-month window for these effects to happen. That's plenty of time. That takes it into like August of 1941, which will also be into Barbarossa and the Eastern War between the Axis and Russia. So if this isn't done by that point, then it won't get done, regardless, because my attentions will be focused on Russia at that point. So 9 months is plenty of time, and all these events persist for that long. I'm going to make another character for the game, Carlo Gelosi, and that will also persist along with all this, and that is based on the variable of does Italy own Greece. If all of this happens, then it'll run this condition along with all that crap, and if they do colonize Greece, then Mr. Carlo Gelosi will be the governor of Greece for the duration of World War II. Pop that in there. That's significant. Metaxas dies on January 29th. I don't know whether there was corruption involved or whether it was a natural or stress-related death due to circumstances. I haven't read that far into it, but worthy of mentioning. That's on January 29th, 1941. I haven't decided if I'm going to make another character for Greece to fill that gap in between this and the potential for this, or if I might just let it run as one of those digital, what's that guy's name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Never mind, but who cares? But anyway, one of those fake guys. And then I figured I would pop this in there because you never really read about nice things being said about Hitler, but he does have a lot of honorable mentions, regardless of the man's character overall and the mark that is most prominent that he left on history. There's a lot of crap about Hitler that a lot of people want to know. So I'm going to put a nice thing in there about Hitler for once, because you don't see that very often, and sometimes those facts are just interesting. You say, oh, Hitler would do that? I always thought he was a fucking irrational nutshell. He was better than history portrays him, I'll say that. Anyway, that's my video, and that's what I'm doing. I got a lot of cool new graphics I want to show you guys next time.